Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any.
We have a winner. Look at that, Max Homa, winning another tournament when nobody's watching. But
looking like a snack.
As you know, if you listened last week to Big Drive Energy, which you should be listening every single week and following along with us live on YouTube Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Mountain Time
Maybe
zone.
A little bit later when I hit traffic.
Yeah, that's a generic time.
Every week I pretty
now,
much hit traffic. I sit at these two lights on York Street for 10, 15 minutes. University. I don't even know what the fuck road it is.
That was one of the greatest things about COVID was no traffic. And now you hit traffic and it's like the world's ending.
You can't say there's anything good about COVID. Isn't that against the rules?
Oh, yeah, probably. But
yeah, no, some of the
okay, one of the good
silver linings.
The silver lining of people being at home more. There's less traffic, and now
it's it's a fucking nightmare.
I'm super bad about like telling people when I'm leaving. That's probably one of my biggest downfalls. Or telling, like, I think I got to work one day from downtown Denver to the Valley of Fun in Elizabeth in like 42 minutes. So now my fucking head thinks that I can make it in 42 minutes every day.
Minutes every time. Yeah.
No, and it takes an hour and 10 sometimes.
It just doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that. So obviously this is Big Drive Energy. I am your host at Big Drive Spence, over here at Big Drive Mitch, my brother Mitchell Smith.
What is up?
This week we got a lot to talk about in the golf world. First, we're going to start off with a little Max Homa winning his fourth PGA Tour, or his fourth overall worldwide event, which is more than a lot of players. We'll get into that. Over the since 2019. So pretty impressive.
When he last won the Wells Fargo, correct?
Yeah. Pretty impressive from Max Homa. Mitchell called it on the show, so
I didn't like scream it from the rooftops, but we posted the clip on our social if you want to check that out. I said something to the effect of, it's kind of a weak field and not a lot of people are watching, so why would Max Homa win? Because it feels like that's when he wins, and that's not a knock. But you saw the group that was following them on Sunday. I could probably count them like when they were standing there. There was like 30 or 40 people, and I know the weather was shitty, don't get me wrong. But I don't know why there just wasn't that many spectators there, and that's where Homa seems to thrive, is when nobody's watching.
Well, the funny part about going through the pod and trying to find that clip of when you talked about Homa, because we were kind of all over the place, but if this is your first time listening, that's kind of our MO is...
Spencer texted me and goes, I can't find the clip. I was like, keep going. It's there.
It's going to be there somewhere. So we found it, but we were talking about the Wells Fargo Championship, and you were talking about the fact that it was kind of weird that there's an East Coast tournament right now because of the weather.
Uh-huh.
And it was shit.
Yeah.
But it made for a super fun event.
I was right.
Because Homa won it.
It played hard.
9 under.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Once again, going back to the conversation we've had on this podcast before, I thought it was a lot more fun to watch than a guy shooting 32 under.
Oh, for sure, yeah. They were struggling to make pars. Their scorecards were all over the place. And the other thing about the course they played on, what was it, Avenal Ranch?
Avenal Farms.
Avenal Farms.
Farms.
It had some of the hardest holes on the PGA Tour and some of the easiest, which I think is a pretty cool mix. Because there's is it 18? 18 is super hard. There's another par 4 that played like the second hardest hole on all of Tour last year. So the scoring average is like 4.8 or 4.9. So you can almost write them down for a bogey there. But then I think there's a drivable par 4. The par 5s were somewhat gettable. But the weather kind of was the deciding factor and the ultimate equalizer, I guess you could say, over the weekend. And Homa, like, Keegan Bradley came out of nowhere Saturday, shot 67, correct? When everybody was going backwards. Nobody was shooting under par. Bradley shot 67 to put himself in contention. And Bradley hasn't won since 2018, I want to say. So it's been a minute for him. And even though he's had quite a few high finishes, I still think he really wanted to get back in the winner's circle, obviously. But he battled all day. Him and Homa went back and forth. Like it went from a 3-shot deficit to they were tied to Keegan was actually leading for a period of the final round. And then you drop a shot and Homa would make birdie. And they just went back and forth all day. But ultimately Homa outlasted him. He made a few clutch putts there and a few clutch birdies coming down the stretch. I think he birdied 17 to put himself to separate himself by 2.
16.
Was it 16? Okay.
Yeah, I believe there was 3 2-shot swings on just one hole on just Sunday between Keegan and Max going at it.
Lots of birdies, lots of bogeys.
And impressive stuff from one of your other guys, Cam Young. It's just crazy to think like a guy that shot 4 under on a Sunday and he was 2 under ends up finishing T2.
So he shot 6 under total.
Yeah, 6 under total.
Yeah.
But
and he's second in a PGA Tour event that's not a U.S. Open.
Took a giant bite out of that entire leaderboard on one Sunday. And that's why betting golf is so wild, because you have players like a Ches Reavie, for instance, or let's say Mackenzie Hughes. He was 1 over par going into Sunday, shoots 3 under, and finishes in the top 10.
Yeah.
So that's why tournaments like that are so much more.
Talk about backdooring it.
Yeah, he was like opening up the screen door, going through the doggy door any way he could to get in the back door.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, when tournaments are that much tighter, it's a lot of fun. When a guy makes a birdie, he moves up. He goes from 29th place to 13th place. Like, it's crazy how much less room there is on the leaderboard, where it just gets so stacked up, where there's 4 or 5 guys. And even, I mean, Keegan Bradley made bogey on 18. I think that lost him $300,000 because he went into a 3-way tie for second at that point instead of solo second. And if I remember correctly, solo second was making like $980,000. Third place was making like $640,000, and fourth place was making $320,000 or something like that. So you combine all those up, average them out. He lost probably $350,000 just making bogey on 18.
That's got to make you sick.
So you go from potentially making 1.6 or 1.8, 1.6 like Max made. He kind of lost $1 million right there, which is insane to wrap your head around. But he played hard all day. He ended up shooting 2 over, and that's the other crazy thing when you watch those tournaments. Is it's so frustrating when you're watching that golf and you're not going through it, because he grinded his ass off for 18 holes and shot 2 over. And you're like, you did all of that just to shoot 2 over. But then when you're in the middle of it, you're like, I worked my ass off for that 2 over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I fucking busted it to shoot 74. When you look on the TV, you're like, what a fucking hack, he shot 74, you know?
Sitting there with a bag of chips, like, on your chest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God, I can't believe you made another bogey.
Oh, I'm the armchair quarterback. I was doing that. I was laying on the couch. I was like, what kind of fucking shot? Like, Keegan Bradley chunked this pitching wedge on Sunday. That was when he made bogey on, like, 6 or 7, and he just laid the sod over it. Like, it was 20 yards short of the green. I was like, what a fucking hack. And then I looked at myself and, like, wiped the Frito dust off my chest, and I was like, fucking A. I gotta shut up.
Well, yeah, it's so bad when you've gotten to hit a fair amount of good golf shots. Like, I won't say it's an outstanding amount for me, but there's been a few here and there. And talking about like Max Homa on 17 on Sunday, he like bailed out way left, and I was like, you little bitch. Like, I just thinking, you know, I would have done the exact same thing and probably
you would have done it worse.
Yeah, 100% worse. I'd been probably 20 yards short of the green, but it was a super tough par 3. Keegan hit an okay shot in there, but missed the green, and then Max just bails out way left, 2 putts for par. But when you have a 2, I believe it was a 2-shot or a 1-shot.
I thought Keegan hit it in the water, or no, he almost hit it in the water.
Yeah, it was very close to the water, but it ended up being good. And that's where sometimes
he almost made that putt, or
Yeah.
he putted it and almost made it.
exactly, and sometimes
Well,
when
and
you're-
Homa almost made that one too.
he did.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're leading, especially in a tournament with tougher conditions like that, like we saw this at the Players too, is it's nice to sometimes have the other guy have the tee box for a while.
Oh, for sure.
Because you're seeing, like, Max seeing that guaranteed was like, okay, that was really close. They both thought, even the announcers thought it was really good off the tee. They're like, that's right at the flag. That's going to be close. He was borderline in a penalty area and really short. So
Yeah.
it changes the way you play. It's almost like a match play at that point when it gets
For
to
sure.
Sunday.
When it's just two guys in contention, you're basically playing against him. Well, and I think that's where Keegan, on 18, he was definitely going for the win. But it's like, dude, just make par there. You have solo second. Like, I know you're trying to make birdie or whatever, and he did drive in a bad spot. He had a horrible lie in the fairway bunker. So that's what kind of hosed him. I don't necessarily think he was trying to make bogey by any means, but he probably could have played it a little more safely, tried to make just a 4 and gotten out of there with a almost $1 million check. But instead, he loses that $300,000 right there, So it's that tough thing, too, where you obviously are trying to win the event, but at the end of the day, that solo second looks pretty good in the bank account and on the FedEx Cup. So
Yeah. Well, do you think where do you think you draw that line? Is it because Keegan's won a lot? A good amount.
A fair amount.
He's
Yeah.
not a guy that's just knocking it around, hitting top 20s, top 40s, and keeping his tour card. He's won a good amount and then going down. But don't you think he'd be at a point personally where he'd be looking at that solo second and think, oh shit, that's probably good?
that's where I think the point he's at. Like, I think, like you said, or like I said, he hasn't won in 4 or 5 years. I think second place means a lot, especially with how big the purses are now. Like, that's almost $1 million check. So solo second is a solo second, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah,
you know?
but I guess I should ask, do you think it outweighs the idea of him winning another event? Do you think his mindset is different than because he's won events in the past, that he's like, all right, I have to do everything I can to try to win this event, and doesn't really think about the repercussions of making a big number on that hole and losing himself a good amount
Yeah,
of money?
probably. Because once you win a few times, I think it's more about your legacy and wins. I can ask you any tournament last year and ask you who finished second, you'd have no clue. Like, nobody gives a shit about second. They do, because they're obviously making the money. But at the end of the day, nobody remembers anybody that finishes second. So, besides a select few. But yeah, I definitely think he wanted to win. It just didn't happen for him. He grinded it out on Sunday, and Max came away with the dub. So, shout out Max. What I love about Max, and it's kind of like he's in this transitioning phase where he was like the guy that everybody loved to laugh at. Like, he's always the brunt of the joke kind of dude where everyone's like, oh, your wins don't mean anything, this and that. Even when he wins, he's like, oh, I won the Fortnite championship. And he's very self-deprecating, but now he's won 4 times on tour. Like you said, there isn't that many guys that have done that recently. So he's kind of in this upper echelon of PGA Tour players somehow, but he still... it still seems like he's not there, because he isn't like, yeah, I'm the shit. I play well every week, because he just admits when he plays bad, and he self-owns everything, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and that's why he's so lovable on Twitter. And I'm going to go to a few tweets here of his from over the years, just to kind of get a look into Max's best moments or his funniest Twitter moments. But I want to read this tweet real quick from Kyle Porter, CBS, covers golf, and this is what we alluded to a little bit earlier. Since the start of 2021, Max Homa has more worldwide wins than Rory, Jon Rahm, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Xander Schauffele, and Brooks Koepka.
That's wild.
And just like...
That's like a year and a half of like calendar months, correct?
Correct, yeah. So, since the start of 2021,
Wow.
I would assume he's talking the calendar year, not the PGA Tour year.
That's fucking insane.
But it's crazy to think
because
about.
nobody thinks of him like that. Like, look at his odds week in and week out. He was plus 2,800 this week because it was a little bit weaker field. Yeah, but every week you see Rory at the top of that, and like we talked about before the tournament started, why bet on Rory? And he finished third. I think he finished third or fourth. So Top 10 was money. Top 5 was money.
He finished 5th, yeah.
Oh, okay. He finished 5th.
Another Sunday Rory charge when he's out of it.
Yeah.
Classic.
The king of that shit. But yeah, that Max is very, very low-key becoming like an elite player on tour that you kind of have to look out for. But I think he does need to take that next step and win like I mean, that's the thing is every PGA Tour event's legit. It wasn't a opposite field. It wasn't something like that. But either win a WGC or contend at a major, something like that to just back it up. And it gets to the point where it's like, where does he need to keep backing it up? He's won 4 times in 3 years.
Right.
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah, exactly. Just because they're tournaments that not everybody's maybe fully tuned into doesn't change the severity of the fact that he's actually won 4 times. Now, if he got second 4 times, who cares?
Also, I have to say on Cameron Young, he's going to win. I'm going to book it right here. He's going to win at some point in the next month. I think he's playing. He could win this upcoming week. Maybe he's my guy. Maybe I'm rolling with him.
For the Byron Nelson?
Yeah.
We'll get to our Byron Nelson picks and give you guys some tour players to look out for this week up down there in McKinney, Texas. Another Texas event. Jordan Spieth's 5th major.
Yeah, he's going to win. Well, no, he's not because Cameron Young's going to win. Never mind.
But so, all right, we got the Byron Nelson. Then we got next week. Make sure you guys are tuning in to the YouTube. We'll be going live not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, PGA Championship.
Southern Hills.
Talking about Tiger Woods.
Tiger's got to win, right? Because he got all those tips from the head pro.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that again.
Fuck that.
That went south pretty quick. So, all right, so we've got the AT&T Byron Nelson in Texas. We've got Southern Hills PGA Championship in Oklahoma. We've got the Charles Schwab Challenge in Texas as well. And then we've got the Memorial I'll give you through June. Give you through June 5th at Muirfield.
Okay.
So Cameron Young is going to win one of these 4 tournaments.
He's playing too good right now not to, man. His ball striking is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, and he's a guy that hasn't won yet, but he's always there. Like,
I think he's like, what, 24, 25?
Yeah, he was a dude for a month on tour that's just like, oh, Cameron Young again. Oh, Cameron Young again.
Well, and he just emerged like 2 months ago. Nobody knew his name until now, and now if you don't know his name, you should, because I think this dude's going to be there for a hot minute.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to a couple of tweets from Max Homa, I was scrolling his Twitter, just finding some funny ones that caught my eye. This is a pretty good one. This is from January 31st of 2017. He said, had a few caddies hit me up recently hoping to team up. They heard they usually get weekends off, which is apparently a great selling point.
That's good.
And it's just...
That's the self-deprecating...
Yeah, comments like that where they're even more funny because this dude's loaded. He's a great player. He knows it, but he's being humble, but in his mind, he's like, this is funny.
Yeah,
I know I'm not as bad, but it's a good chance for him to connect with people who we had a dude at the golf course, actually is the lady today at the golf course too. She was like, I was in tears on Saturday. I almost quit the game. And she's a good player, like under a 10 handicap.
Yeah.
So this game will do that to you.
Oh,
Some days
100%.
You leave the course and you're like, this game is fucking stupid.
Well, and that's what's even more impressive about what Max does. Because, like, when you own everything that you do wrong on the golf course, it can bury you. Like, it can beat you down to a pulp. Because you do so many more bad things on the course than you do good things. You can always nitpick something no matter how good you play. So the fact that he can own all of his mistakes and still has the confidence to go out there and win, I'd be where I am right now, which is not on the PGA Tour. So like his mental fortitude to somehow be that self-deprecating but also have the confidence at the same time just doesn't compute with me. Like I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah,
I have to think I'm the shit to be the shit. I don't think he does.
I've got the self-deprecating part pretty down.
You do.
When it comes
you
to my
own
golf
it.
game.
Yeah, you own it.
Here's another tweet from 2019. I don't think I'd be nervous on the first tee at the Masters. It's always been a dream of mine to play in that tournament. I'd jump right past nervous and skip straight to violently ill, unfit to be in public.
Yeah, I don't think really anybody is prepared for the first tee at the Masters whenever you get there. I think it's still a surreal moment. Like, even if I wasn't playing in the Masters, just at Augusta, I think I'd be pretty fucking nervous.
Yeah, so this one's kind of funny because it hits home. If my wife is listening, Kylie, I'm sorry, but this is her in a nutshell. So he's at the airport leaving for a tournament. He says, a husband at the airport just called out his wife for being too close to the line and confusing people who are ready to board. Huge win, seeing as how this was many people's pet peeve. Was great to see somebody stand up for the greater good of the group. He lost, though, obviously.
Yeah.
You never win that argument, especially in an airport, especially around traveling. That was from 2018. All the way back 2016. God bless the 16 handicapper giving his 18 handicapper friend swing lessons on the range.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
It's my absolute favorite. This one, oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, another airport one was he tweeted about his wife booking him the middle seat after he had just won the Fortinet earlier this season, which was hilarious. He's like, I'm sitting in the middle seat and fucking coach, probably on Southwest Airlines or who knows what airline, but not a great seat, and he just cashed over $1 million check. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then this is us in a nutshell. The golf off-season is an interesting time because I want to get my game as sharp as possible and get prepared to win some tournaments, but also tequila sounds pretty good.
Fact.
Yeah.
That sounds like a tweet for Allie.
Oh, yeah, she is.
She likes tequila, right?
Tequila is not. Yeah. Yeah, loves his tequila.
Tequila is very good, but I don't think you can play really good golf and love tequila at that exact moment in time.
That's when you choose tequila over any sport.
That is true.
Tequila over sports.
But see,
I
tequila,
like that.
dude, it's just like the second I take tequila, it's cooked. I'm cooked for the night. I am done with. I am not expected.
Was that the shot that we had at your rehearsal dinner? I think we took a shot at tequila, and that's when you went cross-eyed, and I had to drag you out of this bar.
Quick question: how many tequila shots does it take for you guys to knock out?
Probably 3. No joke.
I'd probably say 4 or 5, maybe 6, depending on the night.
But you probably drink tequila like water, huh?
I can drink half a bottle and then I'm probably fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's by myself. All my friends, we gotta buy 2 or 3 bottles.
Yeah.
What's your favorite tequila, Yaya?
Not sponsored, but if they want to sponsor me,
Of course.
Blanco. I love Don Julio Blanco.
Oh, Don Julio. Okay. All right.
So are you a Reposado or a Anejo or a...
I'm not an a-hole, but I do appreciate the comment.
Or what are the different kinds of tequila?
Reposado's a little bit darker. I think it's all just like the barrels are put in.
Okay, what's the clear stuff?
That's
Silver.
Blanco, that's
Blanco.
Oh, okay, silver, okay.
That's what I like. I like the silver. I like. Quick fact: Mexico tequila is actually a lot less strong because the government only allows less alcohol than tequila.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Huh. Fun fact of the day with Yaya.
We always get fun.
Do you
fact
like
from Yaya.
mezcal?
Yeah.
I've never actually. I don't know if I've ever had. Isn't it like super smoky tequila?
Yeah.
It's
super strong.
It's
Yeah,
like the
I would-
Scotch version of tequila, correct?
I think so. I went to a bar that was like a taco place down on Broadway, and it was just mezcal. Like I thought it'd be like, okay, I can get a margarita here, and I was sorely wrong. And it was like so strong. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, why?
Yeah, it's like they're reinventing the wheel. Like, what's wrong with margaritas? What's
Yeah,
wrong
like,
with tequila?
I will say I love margaritas, but I don't
The
like
heartburn,
I don't
holy
like
shit.
tequila in any like tequila's other drink. Anything else like Sunrise, not for me.
See, it's got a little bit of like salt to it for me, so I actually really like that. Like I can do like tequila. I mean, I don't really mix tequila though. I just generally shoot it, squeeze a little lime. If you use training wheels, I feel bad for you because you got to grow out of that shit. You squeeze the lime in there. What do you think the proper way to have a shot of tequila is? You don't suck the lime, do you?
No lime, just tequila, no salt.
I like that.
See,
No salt.
No training wheels.
he's hard. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
soft. I'm soft
I'll
as
maybe
shit.
go like a little bit of lime or salt on the rim, but lime gives me heartburn. For those of you who don't know, I'm like 75 years old. Everything hurts me. Like I look at citrus.
You don't look a day over 80, man.
Thank you. But yeah, like citrus really pains me. Anything like tomatoes fuck me up. Like Italian food ruins me. So margaritas, if I have like 2, I just lay in bed all night and feel like I'm about to vomit.
Really? See,
Yeah.
margaritas I am a salt fiend, as you know.
You do have like an issue.
I eat salt by itself.
Yeah.
I squeeze like a salt shaker.
I've
into
seen
my hand.
Spencer take a grinder of salt and put it directly over his mouth.
Yeah, I have done that, and that's
Disgusting.
why I think that's partly why I love margaritas so much, because I love just licking the salt.
But see,
off the rim.
tequila kind of has that like salty aftertaste to me, so I think that I figured you would like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's margaritas are.
You're just
nothing.
soft.
Yeah, I'm just very soft.
Yeah. Spencer will drink whatever the fruitiest, which I actually respect, because you own it. You will order whatever the fuck in a martini glass, a Mai Tai, like some.
That's the fuck.
What are those like? You'd order in a coconut.
A tiki.
A tiki cup. Yeah, the ones that
Pony Up.
Yeah, you will order the fruitiest drinks ever, and they taste fire, but I feel like you got to grow up a little bit and advance onto just some hard liquor.
Well,
Why
see,
do you have to be disgusted with getting drunk? Why can't you get drunk
Yeah,
and having a good time?
exactly that. Yeah. So you see, you don't have to.
see,
but
I feel like you have
think-
to punish yourself a little bit.
But I feel like it's fucked up when, like, I'm a big vodka drinker. I'll order a drink at a bar that I think looks good, and they have to bring it in a fucking a fruit,
martini
like, a
glass?
Like, just put it in a cup. And I'm gonna start asking for that, because I'm tired of like getting a drink and it being in like one of those little martini glasses.
You can't have your cake and eat it too,
have
bro.
A
If you're
flower
gonna
on top of it, like, just bring me those ingredients.
if you're gonna order
in
fucking
a beer mug,
oh my god. If you're gonna order a Cosmopolitan or some of that corny shit,
I always stay
you're
away
gonna-
from those.
You're gonna get whatever. Oh, what's another? I mean, I'm sure any sort of fruit martini is right up your alley. Espresso martinis are my jam.
Espresso martinis are.
I think the
very good.
last one of those I had was right before I blacked out in Phoenix. So that was a whole different story for another time.
But yeah, Max Homa, congrats to him.
Back on track, Max Homa.
One guy I want to talk about really quick before we move on. Jason Day, what the fuck?
What did you shoot? Like
79 on Saturday. He was I figured he'd run away with it. And old J Day would have
he
done
just
that.
doesn't have it anymore. I
No.
think that is
It's
one of those
sad.
guys
He was
where
9 under, and I think his closest competitor mid-Friday
I did see that where he was
like,
completely off the first
was-
page of the leaderboard.
Mhm. He
Wow.
he had a 4-shot lead middle of Friday at some point.
Dude, I really think he's got to change his swing. He's got to do something because he's been doing the same shit for too long, and he's gotten older, and he can't get away with doing what he does to his lower back anymore. I think he's got too many problems there, and his swing just mechanically doesn't. He won all these years beforehand in spite of his golf swing. Like, if he really wants to get back to playing really good golf, I would recommend he goes and sees somebody else, because his swing is not repeatable enough. I mean, and that's crazy coming from a dude that how many times he went on tour? 10 plus times? 8, 10, 12 times?
Yeah.
Somewhere in that ballpark. And he, like, whenever he gets in contention, either he's got fucking, what is it? I was going to say Montezuma's Revenge, but that's just diarrhea. The spins. What are the spins?
I think I think the scientific term is just spins.
No, he get vertigo. Oh wow,
There we
good
go.
one. Yeah, he gets vertigo, and I mean, obviously that's not his fault. But then it's either that or it's his back. It's this, it's that, and he's always got these problems. It's like, dude, just go out and play golf. But I think he's kind of done. I think his career is kind of cooked.
It's sad because he's had.
I never really liked the guy. I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know how you couldn't. Like, to me, he's not an unlikable guy. Like, just because he's not a darling.
He was just kind of vanilla to me. Like, I like some personality. He always seemed a little bit vanilla.
Okay, that's fair. Well, before we get into talking about Byron Nelson, we're going to discuss this hilarious Monday qualifying story for the result as a loss of a bet. Really get into how funny it is that the fact that this even happened and kind of how this came to happen. We want to tell you guys about our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Our favorite sportsbook.
Our favorite sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And while the NBA playoffs are still going on, we know our Nuggets lost. It's sad. But when we were talking to you guys last week, we were excited to go to Avs Game 1. We thought they would have a tough series against Nashville. You know, Nashville buried us a
They
couple of years ago.
rolled.
And now we're sitting here 7 days later, and the series is already over. So we're already headed. We're on to round 2, or we're on to Cincinnati. Not really. We're
Either
on to
St. Louis or Minnesota.
St. Louis or
but
Minnesota, and it's going to be great to beat them. So, but get into the NBA playoff action with DraftKings Sportsbook, who's an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All new customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. You can turn small bets into big paydays during the NBA playoffs with same-game parlays. You can bet on total threes made, total rebounds, and more, and have a shot at a big payout. All customers can place a same-game parlay with 3 or more legs, and you get back $25 if one leg doesn't hit. So if you go 2 out of 3, you're basically getting a 2-leg parlay for up to $25 in free bets if that third leg doesn't hit. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Bet $5 on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Promo code DNVR at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions do apply. Minimum $5 deposit. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Now, I'm going to also attempt at telling you guys about our new favorite company here on Big Drive Energy and do a better job than I did last week with Manscaped. So we have our own code, by the way. If you guys are listening and you've been trimming your balls lately in the shower, you're a little tired, you're late for work, you look down there, there's a Trinity forest growing. That's a shout out to a golf course in Texas our buddy works at. Von Miller was actually playing golf there today. You got a forest growing down there. Make sure to go over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code BDE.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. BDE.
That's big dick energy right there.
Yes, you're getting big dick energy for
Big clean dick energy.
BCDE.
Yeah.
But use that promo code BDE and you get 20% off your purchase over at Manscaped. The Lawnmower 4.0 is incredible. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents because they have skin-safe technology. One of my favorite things about the Manscaped blade and the razor is it has a light on it. Like, that's fucking incredible. Like, you normally, like...
Sometimes I need a light to see, like, if it disappeared.
Like, I used to shave my balls.
Like, it's still there.
With a headlamp on. And now I just toss,
like you're mining for coal?
Little Lawnmower 4.0. It's got a light on it. It's perfect. So, get 20% off and free shipping with that code BDE at manscaped.com. What's it? Let me find this here. Oh, fuck, we're doing it again. But the Performance Package 4.0 comes with a weed whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver ball deodorant, the Lawnmower 4.0, crop reviving toner, performance boxer brief, and a bag to hold the whole thing.
Hold your bag?
A bag to hold your stuff that cleans your bag.
That holds your
cleans
bag.
your ball bag.
Yeah. I like that.
Love it. So head over to Manscaped, use that code BDE, and you're getting 20% off and free shipping.
Real quick, I don't want to get graphic, but is there anything worse than nicking your sack? I don't think I've ever experienced anything worse than that.
It's a problem and it just lingers.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
And it itches.
Yeah.
And that's why Manscaped is goated. Because you're not going to nick your sack.
No. I've even tried.
Clean.
I've been like, all right, I got to really test the waters here.
Spencer took it in there like a knife, like trying to stab himself.
No cuts.
Couldn't hurt
nothing.
himself.
It was great.
Unbelievable
Stuff over from the homies at Manscaped.
Love that.
All right, before we get in, do you want to let's touch on this Monday qualifying. There's great stuff from them every week, but let's touch on this story a little bit. And Mitch will kind of go into what happened, why this guy ended up doing this, and then the reason he got in.
Yeah, well, so this dude lost a fantasy foot. Come to find out, so I'll circle back here. Originally, somebody tweeted, Monday Qualifier Info tweeted that these guys show up on the tee. It's supposed to be a threesome, and there's only 2 of them there. They're waiting on their third guy. They think he's like late, whatever. It turns out he shows up to the wrong tee box. He goes to the first tee, proceeds to hit it 10 feet. I think he was 7 or 8 over through 3 holes, and then his caddy finally turned to the other guys and goes, "I'm so sorry, guys. This is horrible, but this dude lost his fantasy football league, and the losing guy in this league had to sign up for the U.S. Open local qualifier and play in it, basically making a complete ass out of themselves, which I actually think is pretty fucking funny, and we'll get into some more of the replies and how people are all in their feelings about it. But yeah, he ended up shooting a 112, and the way you can get, like, people are like, how could he even get in there? He basically made a fake handicap, which any of us could probably do, you know? Like, you sign up with a gin handicap, costs you $50. You go and enter fake scores. It pops up with a 2-3 handicap, because I think the limit to sign up for U.S. Open local is like 3.2 or somewhere in that ballpark. But as long as you're under that, you can sign up. You just put that gin number in, and nobody knows the wiser if it's legit or not. Obviously, in this dude's case, it wasn't. So he creates a fake handicap, goes and plays in the U.S. Open local qualifier, and everybody on the internet was like up in arms about it. And so one of his playing partners tweeted that everybody was like getting a kick out of it, or the general public was, and he goes, I can tell you firsthand it was not fun, this and that, big dump in his pants. And then he proceeds to get dragged on Twitter. One dude was like, yeah, you were really in contention with your 81 that you shot, which was 8 shots out of even tying for a playoff for the qualifying. And then another dude said, I'm sure all your playing partners were real annoyed, because the way they portrayed it was the group was really annoyed with the dude, which is somewhat fair. But as long as you're like, I've played with dudes that if they're actual good players, they shoot 90, like, it happens. If you play like shit, you play like shit. But if the guy was super slow, which I don't think he was, I haven't read anything about that. I don't really think I think it's fucking hilarious. Like, I would feel too bad to like put somebody else up to that, but I think it's great and it's ruthless from his buddies. And I don't know if there's anything more embarrassing than like stepping to the tee and just fully well knowing that you're about to make a complete ass out of yourselves.
Well, do you think so? You went full-blown maniac last week on the pod about Tiger Woods, just kind of because you're a golf snob. Let's get it that way.
Okay.
All right.
I disagree, but
you can disagree, but we all know it's true. How would you feel if you were in that and had to play with that guy?
I mean, it would be like, I would think it's hilarious, personally, but I would be a little bit distracted by it. But I've played like shit in those things. Like, let's be real, those dudes, like that one guy replied, dude shot 81, and he was probably grinding over everything, you know, like he didn't shoot 67. And I'm not saying that makes that much of a difference, like it's a respect factor.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is that affecting, do you think the guy maybe that shot 81 would have played a little better if he wasn't playing with a guy shooting 112?
Well, I think that's his problem if he can't focus well enough. Like, everybody's played with those people that they don't want to play with. They either talk too much or they take too long. No matter what you're shooting, I don't really think it means what you're shooting doesn't have as much to do with if you're fun to play golf with or not. Do you agree?
Yes, and I think that's actually one of our my biggest pet peeves. Not pet peeves, it's just more of an annoyance with people that are our friends. And this is not saying this in a dick way, but I'm a quote-unquote golf professional, right? That is a very loose term.
Yeah.
Wow, that was some little twin telepathy there. That's a very loose term for sure. But when other people are like, oh, you don't want to play golf with me, I'm horrible. I could give a fuck less.
Yeah, I
if
really
you're
couldn't.
Fun to hang out with,
and you don't take 25 minutes looking for your ball. If you hit a bad shot and you're like, fuck it, I'll drop one here, we'll move on to the next one. Yeah, I have no problem, like you said. I actually enjoy playing with the people that take it less serious. So I don't have a problem with that. It's more about, like, if there's groups stacking up behind you, like if this dude's taking forever, he finished the round. Like, I'm shocked he didn't try to withdraw at 9. Like, his
that
buddies
was probably part of the bet.
Exactly. You had to finish all 18. But yeah, there's a lot of mixed responses on Twitter, like, oh, I'm sure it really fucked up the group, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, lighten up a little bit. Like, this dude, it's not like he's directly impeding your progress or your road to where you want to go. You know, like, if it's that big of a deal, just pretend like it's not there. Like, you don't have to engulf yourself in it and, like, turn away when he's swinging. Like, no, it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. But some people felt some type of way about it. And I guess, like, the thing is, too, you pay, like, $350 to enter this. So it's not cheap, and it's not, like, I mean, that dude was clearly fucking around, but nobody else is there to fuck around. So, but take it as serious as you want. He can take it as serious as he wants. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
What do you like? Would you be annoyed?
No, see, I'm very.
You're mentally just in a pretzel, anyways. So I think watching that would. I don't know if it would help you or hurt you.
No, it honestly like I feel like sometimes I do play better golf when I'm playing with people that are better than me, and it pushes me to play a little better. It depends upon how serious the round is, whether how serious I take it or not.
Yeah. And
usually if it's a round for fun, it's not like an official tournament, and I start sucking wiener in the first 3 holes, I'm out anyways. So I'm like, from that point on, I'm like, dude, I just, we may have to cut that, yeah. But
once you're out, you kind of just want to enjoy yourself.
Right. And then I stopped taking it so serious from that point on. I'm not looking for my balls forever. I'm not getting pissed off when I hit a bad shot. But when
you're like 1 foot out the door.
But when I am playing for money and getting to a point where I'm playing with better players, I do step my game up. But I also really do enjoy playing with people that just love playing golf and love having a good time.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they fucking top it 10 straight times. The only thing that I get secondhand uncomfortability when they get pissed off. When other people get pissed off, like if that dude shooting 112 is just like, I suck. This is fantasy football. Bet loss.
Well, and like if you made a putt and he goes, nice putt, dude. Like if he was basically like cheerleading for other guys, I think that's awesome. Like,
yeah, I would have absolutely no problem.
Yeah, see, I would actually like that. It's all about your attitude, and I think that's what it really comes down to. Because there's been guys I play with that shoot 4 or 5 under par. I'm like, I never want to play golf with them again. They're terrible to play with, no matter how good you are. And then there's been players that shoot 100, and I'm like, I would play golf with them 7 days a week. So I think we hit the nail on the head. It's more about the dude's attitude, which we really don't have any insight on. We don't know how he acted during the round, but I'm sure he couldn't have been taking himself too seriously.
No, there's no way, because he's probably just like your weekend warrior guy.
But imagine walking to the first tee and like he plays 2 holes, and you feel like you're unpunked a little bit, like. You're like, somebody fucking with me?
Is Ashton Kutcher here? Where's he coming out
seriously. Like, this dude hits it 10 feet off the first tee, and you can kind of tell when somebody looks like they might be good at golf or they're not. And I'm assuming this dude just showed up in, like, cargo shorts or...
It was either that or he went full out and, like
tour visor, fucking white belt, white shoes, pants... And then he goes and tops his first tee ball and makes like 8 on the first hole, which is doable, by the way. I'm not covering my own ass here, but quick U.S. Open local story for you. At the Broadmoor, I was playing pretty well. I was 1 under through 9, and I didn't know it at the time, but 1 over ended up being what got in. So I was 1 under on the turn. We go, like, give the scorer our numbers. I'm feeling good. And I was like, okay, let's fucking do this. I get on 10, hit my tee shot in the middle of the fairway, proceed to I trap hook a 5-iron over the greenside bunker. It's up against like these ferns on the side of the fence line. Like, I don't get a drop. I should have taken a drop. Long story short, I get penalized, end up making an 8. And I'm out of it right there. Like, I cashed it in. And I think I shot like 44 on that next 9. Like, I went 35-44, and it was fucking terrible. Like, because I was waiting for a rules official. There was 2 groups in the fairway waiting for me. I was like, I would rather be anywhere but right here, right now. Like, just make me disappear.
Yeah,
I felt like complete dog shit. So quads are a very real thing. But then this dude probably makes, like, quad. A good hole for him is a double, and you got to be like, what's this guy doing here?
Yeah.
So once you get a little insight from his caddy, I think it's fucking funny. But at first, I'd be like, is this guy serious? Like, is he for real? Like, what a waste of money.
Well, yeah, and we see that, and we've talked about it on this pod before. Just every week, there's somebody going out there shooting 100+ on a Monday qualifier that just absolutely has no chance. It's like, you feel bad for the people at the PAT, which is the player ability test, which you have to take to become a PGA professional. Not a hard thing at all. I had to shoot 75, 76 at a course
Yeah,
that's
relatively
not even,
for some people.
right. But I mean, it's not like a U.S. Open local. You're probably
It's set up as easy as possible.
Yeah, like it's PAT. Like they want you to pass it, and those people that go in there knowing they're going to shoot 90, they're paying $100, $180 to shoot 90, and have to take it again.
Yeah,
and then the more you keep failing,
that's painful.
The worse
the more it
feels.
gets in your head. Yeah, I'm
exactly.
Sure. You got to overcome that shit. You passed it first time.
I
Credit
did.
Credit to you.
Credit to me. I just cheated on 2 holes. So.
Shut up.
No, I'm just
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They're pretty strict about that.
Yeah, they're probably out there. If you got to cheat in the PAT, you just flat out quit.
Yeah, but I did have I did have one of the most outrageous comment that I've ever made, and I can't even talk about it in public or on Twitter, or on this pod.
And it was unintentional, wasn't it? If I remember it correctly,
unintentional comment, but about the most unbelievable thing I've ever said in my life. But
which is saying something.
We move on.
We move on. Just like 10 minutes ago.
Just like we're moving on now to our golf tip of the week.
Yeah, look at that graphic.
Golf tip of the day of
the week, the day of the week, whatever.
All right, Mitchell, what do you got for us?
So my golf tip this week doesn't really have anything to do necessarily with the golf.
And for the record, this is how our golf tips of the week go. It's just like our TikTok, which if you're not following it, follow us at Big Drive Energy on the TikTok. I know you're all sitting there scrolling late at night through videos. Just go.
We probably popped up on a lot of people's For You pages.
Yeah, we've been on a For You page or two. A lot of people come into the pro shop and comment. But these golf tips of the day, they're going to be like
not actual golf,
more etiquette type of learning new, how to act on the course, different things like that. They're going to be semi funny in our eyes. If you don't think they're funny, then sorry.
Fuck off.
Fuck off too. But these golf tips are going to be more.
These will help you enjoy your time more at a golf course and have everybody else enjoy you being there.
Exactly. We're not going to get up and show you where your position is at the top.
No.
You can hit us up for lessons for that.
Yeah, you can pay us
DMs
hourly
are open on
for
Twitter.
that. But no, my golf tip for today is, in this day and age with our generation, nobody carries cash anymore. Nobody, and to be fair, there's a lot of places that don't take cash anymore. But whenever you go to a golf course, always have, I would say, somewhere in the $20 to $40 range on you in cash. And I'm talking ones, I'm talking fives, tens, just kind of change. Or go to the bartender, ask for change. But cash for a few things is huge. Number one, the bev cart lady. If you tip the bev cart lady cash the first time you see her, you throw her a $5 on 2 drinks, whatever. You toss her a $5, she knows right off the bat. It's kind of like at a wedding. The bartender, you always try to take care of them first round, let them know who you are, so they know to take good care of you going forward. That bev cart lady sees you again, she goes, oh, they tipped me really well last time. I'm going to try to make it back around to them. And then you drop a hint hopefully we'll see you again, and you know what I mean? Come on back, and that lady or whoever's on the beverage cart is going to be back at you in 3 or 4 holes, ready with some fresh cocktails for you. So that's huge, taking care of the bev cart bartender. But then gambling with your buddies, everyone gets so sick of oh, what's your Venmo? Send me a request. Just have the cash, and it makes it feel like legit betting at that point. You have the cash in your hand. Sometimes Venmo feels fake. It's not real money. It's like Monopoly money a little bit. So you got that you're handing that cash over. When you lose, it sucks. But when you win, there's Michael Jordan, I think, still has a $5 or a $10 bill framed from a bet that he won against one of his teammates, over a game of checkers or some shit. Just because it's not about the money, it's about the pride of somebody handing you that money. So that's just the old school way to gamble, having cash on you. And then also tip in the cart staff. You never know when you're going to need to tip the cart staff. You always want to take good care of them. And when you leave, I know this sounds like some Earth Day shit, you're leaving at a better place than you found it. You're tipping the bartenders, you're tipping the bev cart chick, you're tipping the cart staff, and then you're gambling with your buddies, whatever. But everybody's going to want you to come back at that point.
Yeah, so always bring cash. Don't be oh, what's your Venmo? That's kind of lame. So bring cash to the golf course. And actually, funny story about tipping the bev cart lady going back to wedding. Some of my buddies at my wedding apparently they know who they are if they're listening to this. They tipped the bartender at my wedding in fucking
gummies.
weed gummies.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, I saw the
probably
one chick
some
like
Ripple.
drooling in the corner.
She
like,
had to get carried out. They had to flip bartenders.
yeah, they actually
because-
low key like ruined that wedding because they were short staffed because that chick was cooked.
Yeah, they tipped her in gummies. She ended up taking too many of them.
Don't eat
And-
gummies at work. Like I feel like that's basic human shit.
Yeah,
Like, don't get high and go to work.
yeah, that's just a fairly simple scenario.
I feel like people have gotten fired for that
Yeah.
at some point or another.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe just don't eat a weed gummy and don't tip people in marijuana. But they
It's a
were
fire tip,
They
but
were from
it's-
out of town. They were at the dispensary.
It's meant to be saved for later.
Yeah,
For sure.
That's a tip for later for sure. But yeah, that girl decided she definitely didn't look right. But I had also had like 12 Manhattans at that point, so I didn't really look
Nobody
right.
looked right.
Yeah, we were all kind of like looking in the mirror, taking one extra deep breath, like, fuck, where am I? Like, how did I get here kind of thing by the end of the night.
Oh, exactly.
Me stumbling to my hotel room, horrible evening. Well, horrible evening post-celebration. Like,
Horrible end to the night.
yeah, and the next morning was also horrible. But
It was.
That's a wedding for you.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Byron Nelson before we finish it up with a little
Okay.
fairway or Fore. So just give me a few guys this week, and I'm gonna save this. We're about that I'll remember the time that we're in for when because when you get hot, when you've gotten hot with your golf picks before, it's been a train wreck. So I'm logging in a train wreck in a good way. It's like a train coming down the tracks. It's not going to stop.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
about
so
that.
I'll let you take a look and I'll give mine. So a couple guys I like this week. This is a random dude. He's 27 years old, hasn't won on the PGA Tour yet. A couple of big finishes this year. He always seems another guy that I just like as I'm watching. We watch every PGA Tour event start to finish, of course, and a guy that's always up near the leaderboard. He was again this week. I think finished T15 a non-impressive Sunday. Kurt Kitayama. He's got crazy odds. Like just him, if you log into the DraftKings Sportsbook, just him to get in the top 20 is plus 500. And to win the tournament, I believe he's plus, let me see.
Plus
here.
10,000.
Plus 10,000. So that's
big odds.
yeah, that's a guy that I'm looking towards this week. If you want a lamer pick, third best odds, Will Zalatoris. He's played here.
He was
hundreds
actually a
of
dude
times.
off the top of my head that I was like, I do like him this week just because. So these fairways are super wide, but it's all about controlling your ball in the fairway, around the green, on the green. And Will Zalatoris, great ball striker. Obviously, the low-hanging fruit of this tournament, Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, he's
This
plus
was where
700.
fuck that. You don't bet. You don't lay those kinds of odds on the PGA Tour for a winner. But this is the site of his first win on tour. That's got to mean something. Sam Burns plus 2,000 set this course record. I want to say last year at TPC Craig Ranch. So look out for him. And then any guy I like that just like Jason Kokrak bombs the shit out of it. Big wide fairways, long tee shots. It plays more linksy. It plays a little bit, I think, or am I thinking of Trinity Forest? Either way, they're very wide fairways.
It's a good bomb. place
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
bomber. Another guy I like this week is Cameron Champ. He's sitting at plus 6,500
Bombs it,
to
yeah.
win it. So we're kind of going with the bomb, the guys with the big drive energy, if you will.
Yeah, I don't mind. I would definitely lean in that direction of guys that hit it further to do well this week. So we shall see.
Our official Big Bet Energy card will be out on our Instagram tomorrow, Wednesday, or today if you're listening to it on Wednesday. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at Big Drive Energy Pod. Post a lot of funny TikToks there. We post our Big Bet Energy card, just any other videos that we make. And we're going to be doing a lot of stuff live on Instagram, especially this summer. Golf season's almost back, so we're going to be doing a lot of stuff live there and on our YouTube. So make sure you're liking and subscribing to that YouTube channel. All right, before we get out of here, a little fairway or Fore this week. Now, going back to last week, you absolutely cooked me. And so did...
For the way you cook steak.
Yes, and so
And
did the
pork
public.
chops, yeah.
And so getting to the results of that,
Flat out disrespect.
which it's not, but, that's fine.
I think it's a
I
knock
had-
it till you try it thing, and I just
I had
never
pork chops in the air fryer last night. Absolutely phenomenal. and I'm a little biased towards how I cook my own food, but it was really good. Like, you would have put that pork chop at any restaurant in Denver and not known how it was cooked, and you'd have been like, this is a fire pork chop.
I don't know about that.
So I actually didn't get cooked as bad as you didn't have necessarily a take. But my take was air fryer steaks and pork chops are not only acceptable, but actually fire. And only 55% Fore and 45% Fairway. So I think people are getting into the air fryer game, dude. I think the air fryer game is slowly, it's obviously quickly growing because air fryers weren't a thing to have just for people at their houses 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But air fryers are super multi-dimensional. You can cook anything in them, and I think steaks are fine in there. Also, your take, the Maple Leafs are going to make a Stanley Cup run. They have to win the East in order to make this a true statement.
Their series did look a little different when we talked last.
Yes. Well, now it's 2-2. But you've seen...
They're going to lose to the Lightning.
Yeah, the Lightning are just...
They're
a
wagon,
classic, like, been there, done that team,
yeah.
And they're not scared of anyone. They're not scared of
They had me fooled
so
early.
88% Fore that the Lightning are going to make.
Yeah, everybody knew.
People are with you.
Yeah.
All right. For my Fairway or Fore this week, this is something that it may be just me, and I think I've expressed this before to you at least, but is it fair to get annoyed every time your cell phone rings and somebody's calling you? Because I do. I know I absolutely hate when my cell phone rings because it's like, what does this person want?
No,
Unless
that's
it's
Fairway.
like a quick,
That's Fairway for me. Like, how could anything be that pertinent? Like, unless you're dying, shoot me a text.
I know, dude, and that's how.
Does that
I
sound
am too.
dark? Like,
no,
I'm just not a big talker on the. It's so inconvenient because I'm always trying to do something, and even when I'm doing nothing, I'm trying to do nothing. I'm not trying to talk on the phone.
Yeah,
I'm trying to sit on the couch and do fucking nothing.
Well, you and I have have made the mistake of giving out our phone number, our cell phone number, to a lot of our members. Sorry if you guys are listening. You have our cell phone number.
Delete it.
Most of you are cool. But we'll get texts like, "Is the T-shirt?"
There is a member not to be named that I've blocked. I don't think he knows he's blocked, but he's blocked.
No, he's blocked on Mitchell's phone. But they'll text us at like 8 p.m. and be like, "Yo, can I get a 9 a.m. tee time tomorrow?" It's like, dude, check the tee sheet.
You think I sit at the golf course and stare at the tee sheet?
Yeah, the tee sheet's online for a reason.
Yeah.
We have these beautiful things called online tee times, our own website. You can go online and make tee times. But going back to my Fairway or Fore, just I absolutely cannot stand when my cell phone rings.
That's fair.
I can't.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's just a natural reaction. You look and you're like, it's never a good time to talk to someone. You know what I mean? It's always an inconvenient time. So totally Fairway with that on, agree with you. Good God. I just had a complete brain fart.
Fairway.
Straight down the middle there. So my Fairway or Fore, of course I always kind of tied to sports, but our lovely boy Nikola Jokic won the MVP again this year, and a lot of media were feeling some type of way about it, including one guy that I really want to focus on who's just human scum. That's the worst in my opinion. So this is my Fairway or Fore. Nick Wright is the worst media personality in sports. I think I don't know of anybody more obnoxious and more willing to stand by dog shit takes than Nick Wright. His takes are so, like, it's almost Skip Bayless level, but even Skip has like a pedigree. Nick Wright is like 3 years into this and acting like his hot takes mean something. Dude, I just want to, like, if I could punch any single person in the face, it'd be Nick Wright.
I agree with you. And he is on the Skip Bayless level, but Skip Bayless he's so, like, caught in his rut that he's just there, but it's his rut.
Yeah.
Like, Nick Wright doesn't
find a new
slant,
bro. Yeah.
And he, like you said, he just holds on to his horrible takes. There's so many videos of, and mostly it comes from the fandom of, like, for instance, for us, it's the Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic MVP takes.
Yeah.
But for other fans that he's just spewed nonsense about, they're probably more privy to what he said because when something directly affects you and your team or your favorite player like that, you take it into account more and hold on to it more. So,
like, I didn't hate Colin Cowherd till he talked shit about Iowa football. And I still don't hate the guy because then he came back and said the Broncos were awesome. You know, so there's obviously, if somebody has takes opposite of yours, you're not going to like it. But just the fact that he's not willing to bend the knee whatsoever, and like just the general disrespect. ESPN had a headline that said, "Should Nikola Jokic have won MVP?" He won the MVP. They voted on that. Like, it's over. It's done with. What's the point in debating? Should he have won it? He won it. It's not up for debate anymore.
Yeah, the
so
debate
your
was
takes
all
are just
year.
fucking sorry at that point. Yeah, exactly. And he kept bringing it fucking night in, night out, week after week, and he's your MVP. So that was my Fairway or Fore. I hate Nick Wright. He fucking sucks. I'm glad Vic Lombardi, our boy, gave him the work on altitude because he deserved
Yeah,
it.
called him a dick in his DMs, got him on the show. Great job, Vic. So make sure you check out those Fairway or Fore polls every week on Twitter at Big Drive Energy. Next week, we've got our big DNVR and Big Drive Energy presents the spring shootout over at Spring Valley Golf Club. So make sure you get signed up for that 4-person scramble. We've got a lot of fun games planned. We got a great tee gift for everyone that'll be pretty exclusive to just if you're playing in the tournament. They actually got delivered today, and they are fire.
They look so sick.
Make sure you're headed over to thednvr.com and get yourself a foursome signed up. If you win the tournament, you'll be able to play in our ending event where we're only going to have 3 teams from each of our 3 tournaments. The winners of those are going to come to one-day event, and we're going to have like a match play style. It's going to be great, so make sure you check that out. Check us out on Instagram at Big Drive Energy Pod. Of course, if you're listening to this podcast, make sure to check out the live version of it every Tuesday, 5 o'clock or 5:30, depending upon traffic for Mitchell.
Yeah.
Down at the DNVR bar. We are going to enjoy the Byron Nelson this week. We've got golf day on Monday, CGA. Colorado Golf Association's got their member play day.
Playing Cherry Creek Country Club.
We're going to be playing a little Cherry Creek Country Club. New track for me. I've never played there, so excited to get out there. Me, Mitchell,
What's
RK.
the course record?
What's the first tee and what's the course record? Me, RK, Hank, and Mitch are going to be out there at Cherry Creek, and then we're going to do a pod from there, talking with the CGA guys, and have that interview for you next week, as well as the live show next Sunday for the PGA Championship, where we'll crown Tiger Woods the winner at Southern Hills.
Shut up.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.